undervalued, underappreciated, underestimated, overlooked, and ignored these couple things. There's 7 key labs that I look at every single day with all my clients. This is the basis to really dig in and look at your health, your not just absence of disease, which traditionally we've looked at health as meaning the absence of disease, but man, it's way more than that. It's feeling vital and energized and having that energy chutzpah, that animal, as we say in Espanol, to really just tackle and crush your day and look forward to each and every day. And so these 7 biomarkers I'm going to talk about today, I just feel like can really move the needle. And if you haven't had them checked, reach out to me. I can refer to you to some places that can do this, even without a doctor's order. There's a couple of groups out there that do these tests, and there's one that's super affordable. If you reach out to me over there on Instagram, Dr. Thomas Hemingway, I would love to share that with you because I really feel like you got to test and not guess. You got to get a look under the hood because maybe you're like me, and I think I was in my 30s at the time, and I just wasn't feeling good. And I had a primary care doc, and he's a decent guy, decent human. Got his degree at a decent medical school, and we did some basic labs, of course. And he goes, "Well, everything looks normal. You're fine." And I'm like, "Dude, I do not feel fine," and it's because he was missing. In fact, out of these 7 markers, to my recollection, I don't believe he did any of them, which is wild. Maybe one of them, 1 out of 7, but yeah, most regular primary care docs, primary care providers of any kind that aren't functionally integratively trained like I am, they miss these kinds of things. It's crazy. So if you've ever been told that gosh, I don't feel normal yet my labs are normal, my providers tell me you're fine, you're just getting older, like this may be the most important episode you'll ever hear, because if you're feeling off, you're feeling low energy, you're feeling maybe brain fog, you have some stubborn weight around the middle that just won't go away. That's that midsection that is the most predictive of heart disease and all the badness. That's what we call the visceral fat. This episode may be the most important one you ever hear, certainly the most powerful one all year. And so here's the truth: most people don't have a quote unquote health problem when they're told their labs are normal. They have a measurement problem. They're missing what is underlying, what could be predictive of the future. Sometimes even 10 or 20 years earlier, these markers can help predict things that Western medicine won't catch until 10 or 20 years later. It's crazy. We're going to get into that in just a second, because back in my 30s, I wasn't feeling great, and I knew about this marker, and my doctor wouldn't get it done for me. He said, "Oh, insurance isn't going to pay for it." You know what that marker is? It's something simple. It's been around more than 50 years. It's not that expensive. It's called a fasting insulin. So insulin is the test you need to get that will give you a lot of information. In fact, 10 to 20 years before your fasting glucose will be deranged and often elevated and predictive of type 2 diabetes, fasting insulin may be elevated. So it may give you 10 or more years advantage to find out what you can do so you can reverse this, so you never get type 2 diabetes, for example, because most docs are checking a glucose, right? Like, duh, that's a baseline. But this marker, the fasting insulin, can get ahead of the curve by 10, even as much as almost 20 years prior to a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. Just gotta test it. Test and don't guess. You gotta test it. The other thing you can do is just walk for 10 minutes after every meal. I've been talking about this for years now. And even before they had data, they have data now. It was reported in the journal Science, which is one of the most premier, well-respected medical journals in the world. They finally reported this about 2 years ago, that walking after meals is helpful, even more helpful than just walking for 30 minutes over the course of the day. If you walk for 10 minutes, separated, whatever time frame throughout the day, you do 3 10-minute episodes. And for me, it just works out easy after a meal because it helps with digestion, helps with blood sugar balance, helps with energy. So I just do it. It's just a new thing I've incorporated. I don't watch crap on my phone. I don't check my email. I eat, and then I go for a quick walk, a lap around the neighborhood, or even if I'm at work, I'll literally walk around the ER, or I'll walk in place, or I'll do air squats, or whatever. I mean, I literally move after every single meal, non-negotiable. It's a game changer. It could be that simple. So the second powerful marker, it's the one that I just alluded to, highly sensitive CRP, because not only does the fasting insulin predict that you may have this marker, this is the single most sensitive marker for detecting early heart disease. Single most sensitive marker for detecting early heart disease. What I love about this marker is it is so sensitive, meaning it is likely to pick up even a low grade inflammation. It'll pick it up. It's designed for that. This isn't about like before. Back in the day, we used to do CRP only if we're looking for an infection, if we're trying to rule out an overwhelming body infection or a joint infection or something like that. We'd do a regular CRP, but that would miss the low grade inflammation, the low grade stuff that's going on that is more chronic in nature, that actually at the end of the day is more troublesome, bothersome, because inflammation is at the root of basically every health problem that exists, from heart disease to cancer to type 2 diabetes, right? It's metabolic disease. Inflammation is at the core. It drives everything home to the root of inflammation, whether it be heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. This all goes back to chronic low-grade inflammation, even depression, anxiety, mood disorders, challenges there. low-grade inflammation, brain inflammation. And you can look into this by checking the highly sensitive CRP. And it even by itself independently predicts heart disease. And get these labs done, okay? Do it, just do it. And so here's the thing. You want to try to shoot for a level at least less than 2.0, highly sensitive CRP. If you can get it less than 1, even better. Excuse me, but less than 2, definitely. And it can be done with simple action steps like optimizing your sleep. The thing I've been talking about for years, right? You can't wait to sleep when you're dead. You got to get 7, maybe 8 hours of sleep consistently, quality sleep. That'll help you tremendously with your chronic low-grade inflammation that you may have. Also, reducing that pesky midsection fat, that visceral fat, reducing that because it's highly inflammatory. Again, we're talking about inflammation here, folks. And one of the best things to do for that is to get your omega-3 healthy fat levels up, right? Most of us are going to have to supplement if we don't eat fish 3 to 4 times a week. Most of us have it flipped upside down, exactly reverse. We have the omega-6 up, which is very, you guessed it, inflammatory. So how do we get rid of that? Well, we got to eliminate the big 3. I talk about this all the time. So simple. I talk about it in my book. Eliminate the highly processed sugars and flours. Boom, 1 and 2, highly processed sugars and flours. And number 3, the highly processed seed oils, which is basically everything other than the better, healthier oils like olive oil, extra virgin, of course, avocado oil, and coconut oil. And MCT is coconut oil, in case you didn't know. So other than those, basically everything else you got to avoid, right? Which is basically in everything that comes in a bag, comes in a box, or comes with a barcode, as Benjamin Bickman loves to say. You got to eliminate that crap. Eliminate the processed foods, okay? The data shows LDL in and of itself is not as predictive as this cholesterol number, which is called ApoB. And what it does, it actually measures all of the so-called atherogenic particles, right? The ones that actually cause the plaque. It's not just the LDL number that matters. It's the ones that actually cause the plaque. Here's the thing. You want to get your triglycerides basically as low as you can and your HDL as high as you can. It's super simple because it basically measures insulin resistance, right? Your metabolic health and also your cardiovascular risk. Interestingly enough, it correlates better with inflammation than even LDL does. Like, this is crazy when you look at this and nobody's talking about it. And most people are actually checking this one. They just don't know what to do with it. So it's called the triglyceride to HDL ratio. And you'd like your number to be less than 2. So in other words, you want the triglycerides to be as low as possible, your HDL to be as high as possible. And ideally, you'd want it less than 2 to get a head start on this. But if you can get it even less than 1, like, good on ya. It's amazing. Get her done, right? Triglyceride to HDL ratio. This marker, I'm betting your doc has not done it. The cool thing about this one is you basically just need to check it 1 time. You don't have to get it checked every time. It's not going to change. This is kind of a hereditary marker. It's called LP little a. It's silent. It's genetic. Super important because it's also very predictive, not only of heart attack and heart disease, but also stroke. And so even when everything else looks perfect, if you've never tested this LP little a, you could be missing something. Number 6, this one. A lot of docs start to try to test this one, but they miss a few things. This is a hormone panel, okay? This is not just a simple, like, what's your T, your total T, but what about a couple other important things? What's your free T or your free testosterone? What's your sex hormone binding globulin? Most people don't check that. You got to know your estrogen, your progesterone. You got to check these kind of things. Your thyroid hormones, even a reverse T3 is super important. That's almost never checked. So you got to get a full hormone panel. I'm betting your primary care provider has never done this. This lab testing group that I can send you to if you haven't gotten these gene checks, it looks at what they call biologic age. It tells you how fast you're aging compared to what your calendar age is, right? It looks at markers of inflammation, your metabolism, your hormones, and then you can track it. Get the test done. That's what we do. I created a whole program based on that. It's called the Accelerator. We don't guess, we measure. We build a roadmap for you. We get you the results. So if this hit home for you, it was of value, you learned something, share it out. Please, please, please. Share it on social, share it wherever. Just send a link to your friend or family member. These things are important. If you want to live your best life and not die of preventable disease that is happening at an astounding number, like over 2 million people a year in the US are dying unnecessarily, a preventable disease, you got to get her done. Test and not guess, because the earlier you measure, the faster you can change your whole trajectory. I've seen it happen. It's possible. You've got this. I'm with you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm here to help. Reach out to me, Dr. Thomas Hemingway, ThomasHemingway.com, Facebook, Thomas Hemingway, MD. I'm here. Send a review over there on Apple. Shoot, I will send you my book. I already shared with that. I'll send you the book. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this movement to put the tools in your pocket so you can change your life one day at a time. And remember, my challenge this week, besides all this lab stuff, is send a note today to a friend, a family member, somebody you care about. Tell them how much you love. Okay? You just never know. Until next time, a big aloha.